I will call to order the Ottawa City Commission meeting for Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Clayton,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley,
Present.
Commissioner Allen,
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore,
Present.
and Commissioner Van Layden.
Present.
We are all present and accounted for. I'd like to welcome all of our guests here today, as well as those watching or listening online. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation by Nathan Mudd from Ottawa Community Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I told Dakota I would try and pretend like I was him. Just a thought from Psalm 11 and a prayer. Psalm 11, the Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. The Lord is righteous. He loves righteous deeds. The upright shall behold his face. So, Lord, we come to you this afternoon with thankful hearts in a new year. And, God, just to praise you for your goodness and over our city and all that you've given to Ottawa. God, I pray for just a continued blessing for each of these men and women who lead in making decisions. Give them wisdom and peace, rest, joy, and just help them to know that they are supported, that they're loved by their community. And it's so easy as a pastor for me to just imagine any criticism that comes, but would you just overwhelm that with affirmation and encouragement in this new year, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. That'll take us to item 6, public comments. Do we have any registered?
We have none registered.
Hearing none, that'll move us on to item 7, appointments, proclamations, recognitions, and nominations. 7A is a proclamation recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day on January 19th, 2026, and it will be read by Commissioner Allen.
The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas on October 19th, 1983, the U.S. Congress passed legislation making the third Monday of every January, beginning with 1986, the day America would honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with a national holiday. And whereas on January 16, 2002, the Ottawa City Commission made the King holiday an official city holiday. And whereas this is the first national holiday to honor an individual Black American. And whereas the King holiday affords all of us an opportunity to reflect on the past while seeking hope, determination, and an opportunity to act upon the promise of the future. And now, therefore, the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas does hereby recognize Monday, January 19th, 2026 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day and reminds all citizens to remember that the legacy of Dr. King lives in each of us and we are responsible to promote, teach, and live the American dream. Signed this 14th day of January 2026 by our Mayor, Zach Clayton.
Thank you. And I believe Richard Jackson or Donald Anderson were unable to make it today to receive this. And they had some students coming with them as well, so we will get this to them tomorrow, so that way they can have that before the event this weekend. That will take us on to item 8, consent agenda, which consists of our minutes from January 7th, 2026 meeting, and an agenda approval with an amendment to the agenda approval for item 9 item 10, pardon me. After declaration, we will need an executive session.
Go ahead. Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I move that we approve the consent agenda with the amendment as stated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Canadian now.
Yeah,
A.
a little bit A.
Different Ottawa.
Different Ottawa, yeah. Item 9, declaration. At this time, I'd like to give the commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication they've had that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially. Hearing none, that will take us on to item 10, executive session.
Mr. Mayor. I move
Commissioner-
that the commission recess into executive session to engage in privileged and confidential communication with the board's attorney pursuant to the attorney-client privilege exception KSA 754319B2. The open meeting will resume in this room at, how long did we need?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, so probably 4:16.
4:16.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same side. We are in executive session. We are back out of we're back. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We are back. That will take us to item 11, unfinished business. Item 11A, Prairie Paws Animal Shelter Funding Agreement with Interim City Manager Finch. Interim City Manager Finch will present a funding agreement with Prairie Paws Animal Shelter for review and consideration.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here. This is a holdover item from 2025. You'll recall that we did community partner funding discussions throughout November and December of last year. One of those that we deferred was Prairie Paws Animal Shelter. You have some bullet points here on the slide. I won't just read those to you. I will say that most of your community partner funding agreements deal with entities that provide a service that you want to support, but not necessarily are contracting for the provision of that service. For example, Ottawa Main Street is a program affiliated with the State Department of Commerce, and you believe in the 4 pillars of that program and that it assists businesses and promotions and attraction and development and design downtown, and so you help fund that organization. The Elizabeth Layton Center has no contractual tie to the city, but you support it with funding because you believe in its mission and you believe in supporting mental health services here in the community for the people who live in and around Ottawa. Prairie Paws Animal Shelter is, pardon the pun, a different animal than those other two. Prairie Paws is actually a vendor who provides a service to the city that the city would be forced to provide on its own or to contract with a separate third party if Prairie Paws was not available. And that's the animal shelter service. So if there are dogs at large, if there are animals that need to be quarantined, if there were animals that have been neglected or abused, Prairie Paws is the vendor that the city contracts with to take in those animals and provide those services. In addition, they provide services such as monitoring and handling registration of animals on behalf of the city. We register dogs, as Chief of Police is frequently saying, we do not register cats. So we've bypassed that fight so far. We just register dogs, and there is no plan to register cats at present. But those services of getting your dog tags are run through Prairie Paws Animal Shelter. So it is a different kind of contract that we need, and so what we have before you today is a contract really for a service provided by a third-party vendor and not a community partner funding agreement. That's not to say that we don't partner with Prairie Paws Animal Shelter, but that's really not their role. And so if you look through the contract, you'll note that the amounts have not changed. The funding amount is the same as the one that you had proposed back in November of 2025. That remains the same. The payment schedule remains the same. But we clearly lay out the services that we are getting as a city for the money that's being paid to Prairie Paws. And we also include an additional service of kind of being the city's advisor on animal issues. You heard the mayor in his inaugural comments talk about wanting to revisit the dog issue. We've had discussions around breed-specific regulations in our community. We've had citizens come in concerned about dogs running at large. And so when those issues come up, seeking the advice of an organization that deals with those issues all the time, and not just for the city of Ottawa, but also for other communities in our state, makes a lot of sense. And so we've put that in there in the contract as an express provision. I will say this contract is modeled on the contract between Prairie Paws and the city of Manhattan. So we did not rewrite the symphony here. It's kind of a riff on something that exists already. But I do want to thank Melanie Landis and Chief Weingartner and Vanessa Cowie, CEO of Prairie Paws, for their work in putting this document together. And she is here today if you have any questions of Prairie Paws. I would note that this, like most of our vendors, has the reporting mechanism back through city staff. It does expressly state that at any time, if the governing body wants to meet with Prairie Paws, they will come and meet with you and talk about whatever issues are pressing in the day. But as opposed to being here every quarter or every month, frankly, they have other obligations to deliver the services in the contract that are probably more pressing than providing that frequency of updates. So we've taken that out and had them report back through the city manager or city manager's designee, which will likely be Chief Weingartner, because that's the most frequent contact the city has is through our animal control officer and the PD. But if you ever need anything or have a question, Vanessa or her successor will be here to answer those questions, and that is written into the contract. So with that, I'll stand for any questions that you may have.
I guess we've not been doing it wrongly in the past. This is just a tweaking of some agreements and some of the communication between, or that'd be an easy way to assess this difference.
I don't think that anything that the city has done to this point has been wrong. I think it's just trying to put this in the right category. You know, for example, we have contracts with engineering firms that perform city engineering services. We could call those community partners, but that's really not what they do. And Prairie Paws is more in that category than it is in the category of Ottawa Main Street or Elizabeth Layton Center. They really are an entity providing us a service that we need as a community, and we're paying them an amount to do that. And so this agreement fits more and is more specialized to the services that they provide.
That's good. Thank you.
Blaine, along with that, in kind of where the funding comes from, will this move it from community partner funding, or would it kind of still flow through that? Do you know, and in tandem with that, I saw item 7 is donations, where if someone were to pass away and in their estate leave money to the city of Ottawa for animal control, did that come into a fund that would then essentially help pay this annually? Or how does that kind of work going forward?
So gifts are always a unique animal. I'll start with the back end of your question first. And because the gift may be specific for something. And so what we try to clear up here is if the gift is left to the city, then the city can decide what to do with it. And that's a policy question for the commission and the governing body to decide what you'll do with legacy gifts that might be left to you. If it's left to Prairie Paws, we have no claim to it. It is theirs to do for their operations and their capital improvements as they see fit. And we just wanted to clarify that in case someone leaves a bequest to the city thinking that they're leaving it to the city's animal shelter. You really don't have one. You contract with one. So that's just to clarify those lines. In Manhattan's case, they actually ran a city animal shelter for years, and Prairie Paws came in and became their vendor and took over that function. We had, before Prairie Paws, Bee Barn and Peck Animal Shelter, which was run in conjunction with the county. So we've never had a city quote-unquote animal shelter, but that was a provision that we thought made sense to keep in case there was a bequest made concerning animals. Now, the first half of your question was about where's the funding come from? Does it have to come from the Community Partner Fund? And I can let Melanie speak to that as to funds. You're going to do your 27 budget here in a few months, and you can decide that. I think it makes a lot of sense to move that back into a contractual line item going forward. But for this year, I think the funding was budgeted into the Community Partners line item. And Melanie, if you want to address that. Okay, I addressed that, I guess.
Okay.
Melanie just nodded in agreement, so.
Thank you.
Can we note that? That was a fiscal question, and I nailed it.
Set that in.
Just out of curiosity, had we come up with a 63.4 as the number that we allot them each year?
It was pretty random.
Just-
No. I think that was their budget request, if I'm not mistaken. There was a request
Okay.
for a little additional funding, and I think we gave some, but not all of it, if I remember that discussion, so.
Yeah, I think it's $1,000 more than last year based on their P&L. But yeah, the P&L looks great. You guys must be doing something right because it looks really good.
Yeah.
That's true.
Vanessa, do you want to say anything?
I got my boots on. I'm dirty today. Yeah, thank you to Interim City Attorney Finch and for everyone that helped on the city staff. This really is a fairly standard agreement that we form with the other communities, so I appreciate that you let us use our kind of structure for this contract. I really think it does formalize everything we've already been doing. So I think if someone who was maybe not educated on our relationship, they may think that you're asking us to do 10 more pages worth of things. Those are things we were already doing. I think it makes sense to have that written down and to just acknowledge what each party is doing in the event that, you know, there's some leadership transition and some loss of knowledge with the relationship. I think it just really makes sense to have that in paper. It's also, it auto renews. I don't know if City Attorney Finch brought that up, but that is very typical of our other communities, is rather than coming annually and making this request, that we can plan for multiple years of funding and that you can also plan for multiple years of funding. So it's not like we're starting the relationship from scratch every year. we're kind of auto renewing, but there is also termination clauses and all that kind of stuff, obviously. It was written by an attorney, so can't sneak that by them. But yeah, just on behalf of the organization, we do support this agreement, the way it's written.
Then you mentioned earlier, we got this kind of idea from Manhattan as the Emporia facility. Is it under a similar contract?
Yeah, Emporia has one very unique little clause in there about the way that sick and injured animals are handled in Emporia, because they don't have the relationship with Cottonwood Animal Hospital that we have here. So that is clarified in their agreement. We felt that the Manhattan one more closely aligned. We had to get rid of a whole bunch of language about leasing the facility, because that's a city-owned building in Manhattan. So we tidied that up. But yeah, this is pretty standard language.
Good.
I think we have this contract executed with about 7 or 8 different municipalities.
Well, thank you, and hopefully your comments about changes in leadership aren't directed at yourself.
I hope not.
But thank you for, for all that you've done for the shelter as well. And as Commissioner Van Leeden said, it's been great things to see.
Thank you.
You're doing well enough. You got rid of the van that has had 3 of my dogs on it.
I'm
which
sorry.
I was so sad. So now I saw it at Bob Allen Ford, and I won't see it driving around anymore.
Yeah, that was pretty sad,
So-
but it had to go,
Yes,
unfortunately.
it seemed-
Yeah, wind-up windows and no
Yeah.
central locking. Nobody drove it. Everybody hated it. To answer Commissioner Van Leeden's question about the budget, we've kind of transitioned to charging per capita. It just makes more sense that way. So this small escalator got the city of Ottawa in line with $5 per capita, which is our standard fee. So.
And I saw you got a
Good, thanks.
chamber event coming up to initiate your trailer. You want to talk about that and when that is?
Yeah, I don't even know the date. I wish Ryland was in here to
Oh.
tell me. I think it's a Saturday in February, and that we're going to be launching, no, Friday morning. Friday morning in February, we're launching our spay-neuter clinic. We haven't quite nailed down the location yet, but it's ready to go. It's ready to start spaying and neutering cats.
It's the 20th.
It's the 20th, thank you.
Very good. Well, I
And the
did-
parking lot's a good place to start.
Yeah.
There were
Okay.
some as we pulled up.
I'll just
Start.
plug it in right there.
Bring it in here. I just happened to drive by your place. I saw it out there in the truck, so it looks nice. I did a good job with all the paint and all. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion. We approve item 10A on our agenda.
It's 11 because we added. The
Oh, that's right,
executive
11.
session. Sorry,
That's right. There we
everything's
go.
pushed down
I'm glad
one,
you could.
but-
Yeah, you're right.
I'll
11.
second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Make it roll call vote, please.
How do you vote, Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
I vote yes. Motion passes. Thank you. And thank you for all that you guys do. That'll take us on to item 11B, update on agreement with Lightfield Energy with interim city manager Finch. Interim city manager Finch will present an update on the agreement with Lightfield Energy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. You recall, we had a meeting back in December, and we had Andy Talbert from Lightfield Energy presented to the commission with a request for an extension of time on the contract that they have on the purchase of Proximity Park. Andy talked about some of the factors, including engineering and the slow pace at which some hyperscalers and data centers move in terms of making their final development decisions. He did talk to you a little bit about the fact that they had been engineering on the natural gas two-cycle generation capacity out there in the meantime, and that they had used that time. Recall that their initial extension request to you was an extension that went through December of 2026 with an additional 3-month period to move to close. It would have put you into March of 2027. In consultation with the Kansas Department of Commerce and others, and in your deliberations, you decided you didn't want to wait that long under this contract, and that you wanted to propose a shorter time frame. You talked about 6 months and then an additional 3 months to move to close. I'm happy to report to you that Lightfield has responded favorably to that. They have agreed to that 6 months with the additional 3 to move to close, and they would like that period to start February 1st. We pressed kind of a pause button in December and ran 30 days out, but they would like that 6-month period to begin February 1. Half of the earnest money under the contract would go firm, meaning that the city would retain that currently. The other half would go firm on August 1st, and they would have 90 days to move to close at that point. If they do not, move to close. If they do cancel the contract, obviously the property goes back on the market and you proceed to try to find a different buyer. It's my understanding in consultations with Lightfield, if they find someone sooner, they may come back to you and want to move to closing sooner, if that's feasible. So that's kind of the state of play today. If you want to conclude these negotiations, I would ask for a motion authorizing me in my role as interim city manager and city attorney to finalize an extension of the contract along the terms that I just described and to execute the same on behalf of the city on or before February 1st.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Just a point of clarification on this, so we're looking at February 1 to August 1 would be the end of the 6 months, and then 90 more days to close, put us on to November
So
1.
yes, sir, Commissioner. They would have to declare by August 1st that they intend to close, and then we have that 30 days for the title company to conclude title work and send that around and get to closing.
30 days? No, what was the 90 days?
The 90 days is
90.
once August 1st happens.
Okay,
They
all right.
indicate that they are buying the property. They have 90 days to close on.
I got you. Okay, good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. Can I get roll call vote, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
I vote yes. Motion passes. We will skip item 12, new business, as we have none. That'll take us on to item 13, comments by city manager.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep my comments brief. Two things for you today. I told you I'd give you an update on the e-community program today. You'll recall back in December that FCDC had notified the state they were not going to continue to contract with the Information Network of Kansas to provide, or Network Kansas, I'm sorry, to provide that service any longer. The state contacted the city and said, is there any other entity that can take this on, or would the city take it on? In talking with our staff, we've got some fairly large financial incentives this year, including the sales tax, new sales tax coming online, creating some parameters around the transient guest tax, and of course your budget process will be beginning very soon. So the recommendation was not to take it in-house, but to use another group here in the community. We talked to the Ottawa Area Chamber of Commerce about doing that. The Network Kansas prefers that the program be countywide. So, for example, both Ottawa Main Street Association and Ottawa Chamber were considered, but the geographic scope or the catchment area that they both serve are different. And the Chamber serves a broader audience. And so we felt, since it was a county-wide program, that would probably make more sense. And so the Chamber has agreed to contract with Network Kansas to supply the e-community program. That includes some gap financing for businesses that are attempting to get started. That includes a tax credit program. The tax credits can be sold and the proceeds used for development activities. It also includes the entrepreneur competition that takes place in February of every year out at Ottawa University. So Misty Etchison, our communications director, has agreed to help with the entrepreneur competition, since we're coming up quickly on those February dates, and help those young people. They put together business plans and have them judged, and they compete, and winners can go on to the next level. So a great program to kind of introduce kids to entrepreneurship. So the Chamber will be taking on that program, and we've talked to them about working with Ottawa Main Street Association, who generates quite a few of the e-community loans. A lot of those businesses and a lot of entrepreneurs want to start their business right here in downtown Ottawa. And so it's really a great opportunity for some synergy and partnership between two of our favorite organizations to partner with here in the community. And so just wanted to get you an update on that process. So the city will not be contracting with Network Kansas. The Chamber will contract with Network Kansas. And from time to time, if you want an update on that, I know that Ryland and his folks will be happy to come in and provide that. So thanks to Ryland, and thanks to Sarah and Main Street for their partnerships with us. The second piece is that just to give the public an update, we're going to go into executive session here in a minute for about 30 minutes. This is all part of the city manager search. And this will be the second round of review and analysis by you all with a hope of identifying the finalists that will be coming to our community to interview to be the next city manager for the city of Ottawa. And those interviews will take place in early February. So exciting times, but wanted to kind of give everybody an update on where we are in terms of that process. So with that, I'll stand for any questions that you all may have of me about anything going on in the city.
So you said for e-community, is Ryland the best point of contact, or like general chamber email, or is there an e-community at the chamber, or do you know any, like?
I don't know if they'll be
Just kinda reach
setting
out
up
for
a separate email, but I would say if anybody's listening to our meeting and they have a question, we do have one loan app that's in process, and we've let those folks know
Okay.
to get a hold of Ryland over at the chamber.
Thank you.
You bet.
I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll take us to item 14, comments by a governing body. We'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Crowley,
I have no comments.
Commissioner Skidmore,
I have nothing more to add.
Commissioner Allen,
No comment.
Commissioner Van Leeden.
I also have no comment.
Okay. That will leave me. Only comment I would have is looking down below at the announcements. I show that we still have January 28th listed as a meeting, and I believe we are canceling that, correct? Since we will all, almost all be at.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that that was noted.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just to update the public, we had kind of changed those out. We will have a meeting next Wednesday, the 21st, right here. I believe that's your 10 a.m. meeting for the month. And then you will not have a meeting on the 28th. That is League of Kansas Municipalities Day in the Capitol. So I think a majority of you will be in Topeka that day for those activities.
Thank you. That'll take us to item 15, announcements, which is we have a January 21st City Commission meeting here at 10 a.m., as you just heard. The meeting for January 28th at 4 p.m. has been canceled, as January 28th we will be at the League of Kansas Municipalities Day at the Capitol. Our next meeting after that will be February 4th at 7 p.m. here in City Hall. Item 16 is executive session.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner.
I move that the commission recess into executive session for 30 minutes to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel. Is that right? Yeah. For the purpose of reviewing applicants pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1, the open meeting will resume in this room at, let's do 5.
Just make it 5:15.
5:15,
yeah,
yeah.
7
Let's do
Yeah, after a break
5:15.
here.
6 minutes.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We're in executive session. I will entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
So move. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are back in the meeting. That'll take us on to item 16, which is to adjourn.